Governor Mike Pence was in Northwest Indiana this week visiting U.S. Steel and Purdue University Calumet to see how the two are working together to create innovations in the steel industry. Governor Pence got a demonstration on how Purdue Cal's Center for Innovation through Visualization and Simulation is helping steel producers see inside of a blast furnace to help find problems and figure out solutions. Purdue Cal is currently working with 90 companies to use this application at other factories. The governor says these programs will help ensure the state's future.
I was particularly impressed by the Center for Innovation and Visualization that's here on campus. In fact, when I was visiting U.S. Steel, walking on a catwalk, I heard about the visualization program here at Purdue Calumet and the way that U.S. Steel has been working closely with this campus and this faculty to give trainees an opportunity to see what's happening in and around that complex equipment through a virtual reality prism. So this is really a great example of a great university campus, but also a campus that's lending great strength and great collaboration to industry all across the region.
The governor also spent time with students at the Hospitality and Tourism Management program at Purdue Cal. The program teaches students all aspects of the hospitality and tourism industry, including beverage management, travel and tourism, gaming, recreation, private club management, and event and conference planning. While the governor was upstate, education took center stage downstate in the 2016 race for the Indiana governorship. State School Superintendent Glenda Ritz is joining a race that already includes a familiar Northwest Indiana name. The educator announced her plans to run for governor this week. The announcement has excited many of those who supported Ritz in her 2012 run for the state's chief education position. She joins a group on the Democratic ticket that includes both a former House Speaker and gubernatorial candidate, John Gregg, and a current Indiana lawmaker, Senator Karen Tallian from Portage. Some political experts say the former librarian and first-term executive official is not ready to take on topics outside the education field. Our State House reporter Brandon Smith has been following her education efforts this year and says each Democratic gubernatorial candidate presents a different challenge.
There's no doubt Tallian and Gregg can talk about the breadth of their experience. They can talk about their successes in the legislature and their knowledge about making that part of government work, but neither of them has ever held an office in the executive branch. Ritz has, and neither of them has ever won a statewide election. Ritz has, and still has a strong group of supporters who have stuck by her ever since. This is still arguably the biggest hurdle Ritz will have to overcome, having less experience and expertise outside the education arena.
According to her Facebook page, Ritz will be scheduling appearances throughout the state. While Ritz's statewide effort is officially underway, years of effort here in Northwest Indiana are expected to literally start landing new business. Gary Chicago International Airport officials say workers have laid the final strip of pavement to complete the runway expansion project this week. Dan Vicari, who was appointed interim project director in May and has shepherded the runway's completion, says the project has come a long way and is now at the finish line. He says the opening of the runway is transformative and will have a long-lasting economic benefits for the city of Gary for years to come. Crews are still working on environmental requirements, fencing and runway lighting, but transportation officials say the airport will be ready to accommodate aircraft by June 25th. That expansion completion date is not arbitrary. The deadline was mandated by the Federal Aviation Administration. Another effort to construct a major transportation artery in the region has hit a major road bump. This week, Governor Bruce Rauner announced the Ileana Expressway project will not go forward effective immediately. In a statement released this week, the Illinois Governor's Office says Rauner is trying to adhere to the 2016 state budget without raising taxes. The Ileana, the proposed highway to connect Indiana and Illinois near Lowell, Indiana, is among the projects the governor is eliminating. Rauner says the budget set by House Speaker Michael Madigan includes a nearly $4 billion deficit. The Illinois Department of Transportation will officially remove the project from its current multi-year plan in its effort to save money. In January, Governor Rauner announced a spending freeze on IDOT plans, which include the Ileana. Illinois transportation officials say the project exceeds currently available resources. Indiana Governor Mike Pence says the Illinois governor's decision leaves the Hoosier state with few options.
I respect the decisions that Governor Rauner's made. Indiana has taken steps to move forward with the Ileana, but we will defer to the decisions that are being made across state lines and recognize that at least for the time being, that project's on hold.
Plans for the roadway that connects Interstate 55 and Interstate 65 have already been approved by the Federal Highway Administration. The Congressional Steel Caucus, led by Chairman Tim Murphy and Vice Chairman Indiana Congressman Pete Visclosky, says it is one step closer to beefing up protections for domestic steel producers. It's announced that House Ways and Means Chairman Paul Ryan has agreed to include caucus-recommended legislation in a customs and trade enforcement bill scheduled for debate in the U.S. House of Representatives. The legislation seeks to strengthen anti-dumping laws and give the Department of Commerce greater flexibility when dealing with unfair trade issues. Caucus members say the legislation is necessary to ensure the U.S. steel industry's survival in the global economy. The Congressional Steel Caucus consists of 134 bipartisan members of Congress who represent various steel-producing districts like Northwest Indiana. The state has seen a change in civic engagement in recent months, with one Northwest Indiana county leading the way. Voter turnout for last month's primary election was up significantly compared to recent election cycles that only had municipal, not state races. Our partners at Indiana Public Broadcasting say that uptick is likely a product of recent voter roll cleanup efforts. Voter roll purges, spearheaded by the Secretary of State's office, have cleared hundreds of thousands of names from voter registration lists. And so reported turnout last month was more than 12% across 72 of Indiana's 92 counties that had primary elections. Starr County led the way with reported turnout of more than 33%, while Tippecanoe County had the lowest turnout at just 4%. Lake County had a 17.5% turnout, and Jasper, LaPorte, and Porter counties all had around 14%. The renewed reporting efforts did not help overall statewide voter turnout, however. The total number of voters that cast ballots in May is actually down over the last 4 municipal election cycles. Indiana will soon join 22 other states in the creation of specialized business courts. This week, the state Supreme Court ordered a commercial court working group comprised of judges, lawyers, CEOs, and others to recommend policies and procedures to achieve fast, consistent, and reliable resolution of commercial disputes. Indiana Chief Justice Loretta Rush says that the court's goal in this endeavor is to promote an attractive, predictable, and consistent climate for doing business in Indiana. The Supreme Court says the Indiana Judicial Center will provide staff support to the Commercial Court Working Group. The goal is to have business courts up and running in 2016. If you're looking for a steal this weekend, your unlikely destination may be the Lake County Sheriff's Department Police Garage. The Sheriff's Department is getting rid of some of its old, unused, or surplus items by holding an auction at its police garage, which is on the north side of the Lake County Government Center along 93rd Avenue in Crown Point. The auction is being held on Saturday, June 6th at 10 a.m. However, doors will open at 8 a.m. to give bidders a chance to look around. Some of the items up for bid: surplus sheriff's equipment and police vehicles. The auction is open to the general public. There's a new gang in town. Actually, it's a new pack, and it's at the Washington Park Zoo in Michigan City. The zoo is adding a brand new wolf exhibit. 4 wolves have joined the Washington Park Zoo family. The yet unnamed pups will remain off exhibit for a few more weeks. Once they're ready to start their adventures outdoors, they will spend their days in a temporary nursery yard until their permanent exhibit has been completed. Zookeepers say they can't wait to show off their new residents.
We have timber wolves. They are a subspecies from the gray wolf. This is our newest and youngest. He's 4 weeks old. We have 2 males and 2 females total now. The timber wolves are a species that is endangered, threatened in some areas depending on where they're at. So we want to educate the public on them.
The new wolves can be viewed at the zoo after July 25th. The zoo is open from 10 to 4 p.m. daily from now until October 31st. It's going to cost Northwest Indiana commuters a bit more to get from point A to point B, and a local jail facility is getting some points for good behavior. Those stories, plus Steve Walsh, coming up next.
Lakeshore Report wants to hear from you. Send your thoughts, concerns, questions, and story ideas to tvfeedback@lakeshorepublicmedia.org. You can also reach us on Facebook and Twitter at Lakeshore Report. Make sure to tweet us using the hashtag NWIPride, and you may see your comments on air. Lakeshore Report, providing you region-focused content.
3.6 million commuters depend on the South Shore rail line every year. In order to keep the trains chugging along, operators will have to raise fares by about 15%. As Stephen Lattimore reports, most people say they value the service so much that they don't mind the small increase to keep it going.
One of those people who loves to take the South Shore line to downtown Chicago in about 45 minutes. Well, if that's you, you need to be ready to pay more for that convenience. If you ride the South Shore line from Indiana, expect to pay 75 cents to $1.25 more per one-way trip to Chicago, depending on where you board the train.
Got to make sure that you don't put yourself in a position where you wait too long and then you're looking at a 25, 35% fare increase. We want to have smaller fare increases. We want to be financially sound and prudent. And so we have expenses that are going up, and unfortunately nobody likes a fare increase, but that's time to do it right now.
Starting July 1st, one way to Chicago from Hammer, Ogden Dunes, Beverly Shores, and Michigan City will cost you 75 cents more. From Miller to Chicago, the increase is 50 cents. From Hudson Lake to Chicago, it'll be $1 more, and from South Bend to Chicago, the rate will increase to $1.25. South Shore Line officials say the increase in Indiana is in line with the February increase by Metra in Illinois. They say it still beats driving downtown.
Rides monthly out of East Chicago. The monthly ticket's $178. If they were to drive, and this is using the AAA cost for driving, their total for the month would be $1,004. So our charge is $178 to drive, if that's your decision. And you have to take in all costs. That's gas, that's tolls, that's parking garage fees, that's wear and tear on your vehicle, but it's significant. So we are operating at a significant savings.
Some riders we spoke to say the fare increase is okay.
Oh, it's no problem for me. I don't really mind that at all. It's a great way for me to get to Chicago and hassle-free, so I think it's okay.
Each way? That's not bad. I mean, as far as gas goes, to me it's not really bad. I enjoy getting on the train and relaxing and not having to drive, so it shouldn't be too bad.
The increase will generate $1.5 million annually. For some riders, the fare increase is a bad idea.
I don't know about, all the other overhead that they have to pay, but for us to have an increase like that, I think it's too soon, and it's not fair.
South Shore officials say that money will be used to install what's called a PTC, or a positive train control system. That will allow the train to stop itself and override the operator if the train is going too fast. In Miller, Stephen Lattimore, Lakeshore Report.
The U.S. Department of Justice has been keeping a close eye on a facility here in Northwest Indiana, but things may be about to change. Sheriff John Bunsich stopped by to talk about the Lake County Jail with our own Steve Walsh.
The Lake County Jail has been under scrutiny from the U.S. Department of Justice since 2011, part of a settlement of a 2007 lawsuit where inmates sued over inhumane conditions and inadequate health care. Jail started with over 99 deficiencies. Most of those have been cleared away, and the county could soon be out from under DOJ monitoring. To talk about it, we have Lake County Sheriff John Bunsich. Sheriff,
thanks, Steve.
Welcome.
Good to be here.
So this all happened before you took office, just to make clear, but you were there to actually be the one to actually have to go through and fix this. You think you've just about satisfied their concerns?
Well, thankfully that we, over this past, since January 1 of 11, when I became sheriff again, I inherited as you said, the 99 deficiencies that were cited by the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division. And it's been really a rough task for the past several years, but the last visit we had, the last inspection, which was completed just 3 weeks ago by the full team of Justice DOJ inspectors, we are advised that we are close within 6 months of being out from under this. So
how much has this jail changed since 2011?
It does drastically. The biggest efforts were, of course, in the cleanliness, the sanitation aspect of it, the food services, but then also mainly the medical and mental health. Those are the high price tag issues that we had to overcome. We had to put a new mental health section in, state of the art, one of the first of its kind in the Midwest, actually, and to deal with the mentally ill patients that we have, inmates that we do have. The medical staff, that's That's costing nearly $4 million a year. But we have to, again, Department of Justice says each and every individual that's brought into our facility an intake, which amounts to about 16,000 on average prisoners a year, they have to be medically and mentally health evaluated before they can be booked into our facility.
But this has not been cheap. So you've got, what, a $24 million jail budget. It was, what, $13.8 million back in 2009.
It's caused it just due to negligence for several years, not being adhered to properly. The taxpayers of Lake County have now been forced to in excess of $17 million price tag.
And I mean, is this just a matter of that things have changed, that the responsibilities of the jail have become more sophisticated over the years, especially in areas like mental health, or this was just it was just simply?
It's a variety of things, Steve. It's the Department of Justice has taken a hard look at every jail, county jail throughout the country, and as far as looking for the civil rights of the inmates, and it's just not a county jail anymore. It's a facility where a lot of times we're holding prisoners anywhere from could go up to 18 months to 2 years until they have their court appearance. So they're hearing their final hearings, and we have to just constantly take care of these individuals. Just the cleanliness and the housekeeping, and now that we have to allow them a change of clothing 3 times a week now. Before, it was once, maybe every 2 weeks or something like that. The diet, we have to have a dietitian on staff full time to make sure that the nutrients are there, the vitamins and every type of thing like that. So, but we have to adhere to these new standards, and this is a big business now. Running a county jail, it's just not like it used to be.
Well, that's where we're going to leave it then. Lake County Sheriff John Bunsich, thank you for doing this.
Thank you very much, Steve.
Pregnant women are advised to get good nutrition and take plenty of vitamins. Some pregnant women are also taking prescription drugs. The 2006 health advisory from the Food and Drug Administration alerted women that taking certain types of antidepressants late in pregnancy could increase the risk of a severe and life-threatening breathing disorder in their newborns. In 2011, the FDA updated the advisory, saying it was too early to reach firm conclusions about a possible link. A new study examines whether taking antidepressants during late pregnancy increases the risk for this condition, known as PPHN. Catherine Dolph has more in this week's JAMA report.
Babies breathe very differently before and after birth.
Before birth, the baby's blood circulates differently while in the uterus.
The fetus gets oxygen from its mother. The developing lungs are not used for breathing. After birth, this should change. Persistent pulmonary hypertension, or PPHN, occurs when the baby does not adapt to breathing outside the womb. Dr. Krista Hubbardix from Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston and co-authors examined medical records of nearly 4 million publicly insured women, all diagnosed with depression, who filled a prescription for antidepressants during the last 90 days of pregnancy. The researchers were most interested in the use of selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor antidepressants, or SSRIs.
The large majority of those women, around 80%, used an SSRI as opposed to a non-SSRI antidepressant.
The records of women who did not take an antidepressant were also examined. The number of babies born with PPHN was compared in each group.
We did observe a higher risk of PPHN in women that were exposed to antidepressants compared to those that weren't.
The study appears in JAMA, Journal of the American Medical Association.
Once we accounted for potential differences in the characteristics of women belonging to these different exposure groups, we did not find an increase in the risk of PPHN associated with either SSRI antidepressants nor for non-SSRI antidepressants. Although we cannot entirely exclude the possibility that there might be a small increase in risk due to exposure to SSRI antidepressants late in pregnancy, this risk increase, if present, is much more modest than several of previous studies have suggested.
Those characteristics included diabetes and obesity, both of which are known risk factors for PPHN.
This is important information for clinicians and their patients when they are weighing the risks and benefits of continuing antidepressant medication use during pregnancy or potentially initiating medication use during pregnancy.
Catherine Dolph, The JAMA Report.
In an effort to give you even more insight on region events, we're collaborating with the state's second largest newspaper, the Times of Northwest Indiana. Regularly, we'll have an exclusive preview of some of the top stories in this Sunday's paper. This week, as part of its On the Job series, the Times talks with Griffith K-9 officer Robert Gutierrez about his partner Gino, how he makes his job more rewarding.
We actually assist any agency that's nearby, whether it be for tracking, narcotics, article searches, whatever they need, we assist them. We do, respond to patrol calls, do building searches. We're part of the patrol unit. You have a partner who is completely loyal, that no matter what you ask him to do, he does it. And it's an immediate backup, because as you've seen in some of the videos and stuff posted on social media, we've had officers who are actually in need and have been attacked, and the canine actually comes and assists them. I would say some of the challenges would be it's a daily routine that you have to train every day. It's a constant regiment. You keep him on his training. So it's a lot more work than just the average patrolman. Your work doesn't stay at work, it even goes home. So whether it be grooming or taking care of him or even doing more training at home, it's a challenge, but it's fun. Rewarding part is actually to see what a canine can actually do. When you actually start a track and you give him a specific scent and he follows that and then finds the suspect or the male or female who has actually committed the crime, that's a very rewarding feeling, and it's just amazing what he can do.
For more information about this story, check out this Sunday's Times or log on to www.nwitimes.com. And if you want to find out more about any of our other stories, you can always check out our website at lakeshorepublicmedia.org. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope to see you next time on Lakeshore Report.
Hi, joining me for this edition of Eye on the Arts is Sue Spaldi, who's the owner of White Key Gallery in Valparaiso, right?
Valparaiso, yes.
So, well, my very first question is, where did you get the name White Key Gallery?
It's based on the 7-foot grand piano that we have in the main gallery.
Oh, well, that's a unique feature.
Yes, and we do use that when we have special events. We hire a pianist to come in and play.
Oh, how nice. So when did you open the gallery?
It's been not quite 6 months, just before Thanksgiving of last year.
Wow, how are you doing?
It's going quite well.
Oh, good. People want that kind of thing.
They do seem to be receptive to having an art gallery in town, yes.
Where are you located?
The address is 404 East Lincoln Way, and we are 4 blocks east of the historic courthouse.
Okay. So you're very centrally located.
Yes, and it's an easy walk.
Well, so tell me about some of the artists you have and some of the artwork you carry.
We primarily have local artists, I would say, from Northwest Indiana. We do have a couple from Chicago and Indianapolis, and a gentleman from Michigan.
Okay.
But primarily they're local artists. They represent, we have 2- and 3-dimensional original fine art. We have oils, watercolors, acrylics, pastels, charcoal. We have a couple of glass artists, and we also have a wonderful wood artisan and clay, pottery.
And how did you happen to want to open a gallery?
Primarily when my husband and I go on vacations, we gravitate to art galleries,
Right.
antique stores, that kind of thing. And recently, Artist Den closed a couple years ago in Valpo, and it just we thought it created a void.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we thought we would give it a try.
And how many different exhibits and openings have you had so far?
We've had a couple of openings early on, and then we just had a fundraiser last Friday for Marine Ridge, and that was a silent silent art auction. And we have a couple more things planned for later in the summer.
Well, it sounds wonderful, and I think you are filling a void, so congratulations. I
Well,
think
thank
that was
you.
a great move.
Thank you.
Artists need exposure.
They do.
And the public needs to see art.
Yes, they do.
Well, thank you for being here to tell us about Waikiki Gallery.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. We'll be back again next week with another edition of Eye on the Arts. Eye on the Arts is made possible in part by South Shore Arts, the Indiana Arts Commission, and the National Endowment for the Arts, a federal agency.